This episode of Southeast Iowa Today is brought to you by Griner Auto Body of Washington, Iowa, using state-of-the-art techniques and decades of experience to get your car back on the road after an accident. Car Doctor of Washington, Iowa. No matter who Frankensteined it, they can fix it, clean it, and customize it. McDonald Boatyard of Keota, Iowa, for all your farm equipment and auto recycling needs. For great food, it's Your Choice Family Restaurant of Wayland, Iowa. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Try the John Bain sandwich on your next visit. Girling Repair of Winfield, Iowa. If your mower is dead, call Fred, your Husqvarna, Aaron's, and Gravely dealer. Fred also fixes and sells snowblowers. B&B Propane and the family of jet stops. CW Tree Trimming, LLC. We're into your trees, not your wallet. Serving all of Henry County and the surrounding area, and we offer a senior citizen and veteran discount.
Iowa Technology Systems of Mount Pleasant, Iowa. Your one-stop computer tech shop. If you, someone you know, or are a business that is having trouble needing laptop, PC, or business technology help, call us today. Visit iowatechsys.com.
Save the date! It's the Junkin Sisters Shop Hop Christmas Edition, December 5th and 6th, 2025. Shop vintage finds, handmade treasures, and festive holiday decor and eats at participating shops. Check out the Junkin Sisters Shop Hop Facebook page for more details.
Dutch Market and Coffee Talk of Washington, Iowa. Dutch Market can handle all of your grocery needs. They even have a conference room that you can use for free. Coffee Talk's drive-thru is open and ready to serve you coffee, energy drinks, sandwiches, baked goods, and ice cream. They all present the award-winning Southeast Iowa Today. Here's the author of Christie's Journey, The Beat Goes On, and your host, John Bain.
Thank you, Announcer Cody Roy, for your golden pipes and wonderful introduction. It's Monday, November 17th, 2025, and I'm standing outside the Jefferson County Courthouse in Fairfield, Iowa. The Board of Supervisors held their weekly meeting. Here's what was on the agenda. Acknowledge minutes. Discuss and consider abatement of taxes on parcel 1002-101-001 for Jefferson County Conservation. Meet with Courthouse Maintenance Supervisor. Meet with County Engineer. Discuss and consider SIDCA Grant application for Roadway Dam on Quince Blvd to create 5-acre pond. Discuss and consider resolution approving Bontrager Minor Subdivision. Meet with Ambulance Director. Discuss and consider CEO Shared Liability Agreement for new Eastern Iowa Workforce Development Board. Discuss and consider a date to close courthouse for safety training. Discuss and consider keyless entry system locks for courthouse doors. Discuss and consider closing courthouse for employee Christmas dinner. Discuss and consider ISAC support for Amicus Brief for Couser versus Shelby County. Discuss and consider invoice from RSM for Jackson Point LP. Make committee reports, public comments, allow claims, and approve reports. Stick around to the end for public comments. I asked the Board of Supervisors regarding the lawsuit that is against them from former interim ambulance director Judy Heisel if they agree with Jefferson County Attorney Chauncey Moulding's assessment of the case.
Okay, I've got 8:30. Call this meeting of Jefferson County Board of Supervisors to order for Monday, November 17th. Welcome, everybody. Good, okay. All right. I would entertain a motion to acknowledge the minutes. Hang on, let me look.
November 10th, 12th, and 13th.
Okay, November 10th, 12th, and 13th.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Discuss and consider abatement of taxes on parcel 102-101-001 for Jefferson County Conservation. You have a resolution in your packet. Steve is coming up to hit me, so. What's up, Steve?
So what happened here was, we used two different softwares, and for some reason this didn't roll to the other software when we rolled. And there should not have been taxes on this property. This is that Deer Creek subdivision, the piece they bought kind of back in behind where Doc Hill used to live.
Yeah, okay.
They bought that piece, so it should have been tax exempt by now, and it wasn't, so there's $242 of taxes on it. That should not be.
Okay. We have a motion to abate those taxes.
So moved. I'll second it.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you much.
Rush off.
Plenty to do.
Thanks, Steve.
Have a good day.
Dave,
Hope this door shut.
I think we're good right now, thank you.
Yes, sir.
You just need one copy.
The man with the keys. Keys,
So Shannon's got a whole pile of them in there,
okay?
and, we're keeping most of the the three of you have got, the brass keys, and we're gonna keep a couple of the other ones. They're the ones that work the best, they all work, but, so, there should be enough keys to go around.
Okay,
Now that we've got that much of it done, we'll invite the gentleman down from Tremar and, talk to him about keyless entry, at least to give us a quote.
is it just me, or is that more open than before? We got more class now than we had before, or is it?
No.
Okay,
I think they just washed it.
that might be it.
It's the same, it's structured a little bit different
Okay.
than it was before. Door openings are the same, and, we just add a little bit of detail above the door to break, so it wasn't one big sheet of glass up there.
Did they ever get here to do change the 90s to 45s?
He came in on Tuesday, and, we had a little problem with that because, what used to be exposed is no longer exposed. It's, the dirt kind of caved in there, and so it requires to dig out a bunch of dirt in there, and it's become more involved, so we didn't have time to do it. I said, well, let's just budget back up, and, we'll kick this thing down the road.
Okay.
So I'll deal with it down the road.
Anything for Dave? I see that, I wanna thank you guys, your road crew got here and
Yep.
did the,
Perfect.
so, appreciate it. We even let the girls move the cars, so it didn't get stuff sprayed all over.
We're pretty good at washing cars by now.
Oh, yeah, good point. Anything else for Dave?
Good.
Alright,
All right.
Dwayne,
Good morning, supervisors. As you're aware, the crew got the patchwork done here in the parking lot this last week. It is just a Band-Aid. At some point, you guys are gonna have to spend some real money and do some real work on it. That might be something just for budgeting that you, either sometime this winter or yet this fall, call Norris up, have him come over, take a look at doing kind of a reconstruction patch in that entrance. But that's up to you guys how you wanna handle that. We did what we could, but it's not going to be permanent. There's, I think, some issues with just lack of structure underneath that entrance. There's not a lot of heavy traffic in there, but there's not much for base support underneath that thing. Let's see, that being said, we're still going around doing total patch at various locations in the county. We're still working on the ditches on 250th. We should get that wrapped up this week there by Porter's. And we also did a chunk up on top of the hill by Roush's, close to Highway 1. They did a real nice job. They did almost all that ditch work up by Roush's with 2 maintainers. Drove up there and watched them, and I don't know if I told you guys this story, but when I was, after my senior year in high school, my dad put me in a blade for about 20 minutes. And after that time, he had me stop, and I got out of the blade, and he gave me his little notebook and pen, and he said, "It's a good thing you're going to college next year, because you'll never be an operator." And watching those guys do that, I mean, they make it look simple.
I remember,
It's an art.
we were on a road tour, we went down, West Little Rail, so Ash Avenue outside of taking the first gravel roads south of the turn, headed back east there, and watched Tommy Langford do a pirouette. And I mean that seriously, he did a pirouette with that maintainer right there in that corner. It was absolutely unbelievable what he was able to do with that thing.
Yeah, those guys are highly skilled operators, and, you know, a lot of construction these days can be done with GPS and basically what they call machine control, you know, where they have the plan set and all of the elevations in the machine, and those guys are basically drivers. You know, the machine does all of the fine work. Well, out on the county roads, we don't have that kind of database to have the cross sections of the road in there, and they change with the weather and the lack of rock and everything anyway. So the guys have to be able to operate by the seat of the pants in their eye. And it is an art. Sadly, it's an art that is becoming more and more rare. That being said, let's see, we've got a bunch of pipe we're still working on. You know, that's one of those things that's never ending, and we'll keep working on those until Mother Nature stops us. We've also, the County Engineer Service Bureau has a pipe function in their Service Bureau tool package that we have never used. We're going to try and start using that so we have a better inventory of what our pipes are in the county and the condition of them. Because right now we put them in the work order system so we can track the ones that need care, but we don't have any good record of when they were installed or what their condition are. So we're going to start building that database as we do work orders. Right now, to me, going through it didn't seem like it was that complicated, but I'm not the guy who's gonna be using it, so I asked Bob to start working with that and find out if in fact we can use that. That's really it. We're still doing paperwork, and we've got some other things to address here in a moment. Then, I don't remember if I talked to you guys, Vedic City approached me to see if they could do something for a pedestrian sidewalk along their city-owned portion of 170th on the north side of town. And I told them that, you know, we maintain the paved portion as part of our 2080 agreement, but it's not a farm-to-market route. So we really have no say in what happens in that, and we certainly have no stake in helping them build a sidewalk. But I told them, you know, some of the things they can do is lower the speed limit on the road, because that's a city street, and it's up to them what they do with it.
45 now.
Yeah, 45 is mighty fast if you're just walking along the shoulder.
Yeah, they don't observe that.
Well, most people don't, but if they dropped it to 25, they'd at least slow down to maybe 35 or 40, as opposed to just flying through there. So they may or may not do that. They may look at putting a load limit on it, because that old pavement's not in good shape. And now we have a brand new, fully rated tank car just a half mile north of them, that the truck traffic could be going on and not be deteriorating the city's pavement and also our pavement at each end of it. But that's up to the city what they do, so there may or may not be changes on there, I just wanted to make you guys aware of it.
Well, if they try to put a load limit on, there'll be a lot of pushback out there.
That's completely up to them, and that's, again, that's their stretch of road to do with as their city council chooses.
But we maintain it.
We have a 2080 agreement for maintaining it, but any major maintenance or construction is a joint effort. We're only responsible for what's the 22 feet of pavement. That's, plowing snow, patching potholes.
So that was, you answered my question, so we plow it.
Yeah, we plow it.
So if the load limit, if our maintainers exceed the load limit,
We use dump trucks on it, but that's, I think, and I don't know what they're going to do, but, what I've seen some cities do is they will have a load limit for, non-resident, like for delivery trucks, or, but then like the garbage truck would have a permanent, permit to exceed the load limit if that's where, where their load is. So maintenance vehicles would still be exempt. And I don't know if they'll do anything or not, but it would be less expensive for them to do that than to build a sidewalk on that rural pavement, or even doing a 4-foot paved shoulder on it. So, and then, as part of our 2080 agreement with VEDIC, we keep all their farm to market money to pay for the maintenance that we do. A lot of the other ones, we give them 95% of their farm to market money.
You just said it wasn't a farm to market.
It's not, but that is just for our maintenance, was part of the 28 agreement to pay for us to do that maintenance. They have shared farm to market routes, Jasmine is farm to market, and then, so they get a certain amount of money every year, and I don't know that number off the top of my head, but in exchange for us maintaining 170th and the city portion of Jasmine, and the city portion of 185th, we just keep all their farm to market money. So they don't have a lot of farm to market surrounding them.
That 170th is heavily traveled.
is there any issue to putting a load limit on a connector to a farm to market?
I don't think so. If there's other routes, it's just like having the embargoed bridge.
Just for a quick question, did you have a chance, or were you going to, I can't remember the conversation, were you gonna look at the Amicus driveway?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Boy, that's ugly.
Yeah. Oh,
But I have some ideas for you. We need to get together.
Okay.
I'll walk you through some ideas.
perfect, thank you.
Oh, I do have one thing, Lee. Out there, you done some work on the roadway along the Walton Lake.
Yes.
On that north side, the landowner kind of complained about the way you left that ditch there, cause he wants to mow the ditches. Up next to the fence, there's lots of dirt piles and stuff. And I told him I would mention that to you, if there's anything that can be done with that or what. So, it is kind of ugly, cause I drove out there and looked at it.
I will see what we can do.
Cause I know they like to mow the greater ditches, and that's a real mess.
Because I think they came in with the blade, kind of made reestablish the ditch line with the blade, and then the, kind of the overburden gets pushed up into that back slope.
Yeah, just be leveled off and then grass will eventually come back. Or are you going to reseed that?
Usually we reseed after we grade, but I think we're late enough in the year, we may be done until spring.
Do that, so. Down to the tankers west of my house, the grass is coming up there.
Yeah, it's not just the green hydro mulches.
No, I got out and looked, there's little grass coming up.
Well, shoot, you can get that and move it to this other place.
Yeah, there you go.
It's not to be moved, it's permanent there.
Yeah, it doesn't handle being moved very easily. We do not have a sod cutter in the department, so.
Anything else?
Oh, thank you.
Alright, discuss and consider SIDCA grant application for Roadway Dam on Quince Blvd. Create a 5-acre pond, that's number 3 in your packet.
I gave you guys just a sketch that the landowner that was proposed construction contractor gave to me. And I don't know off the top of my head what we need to do if somebody wants to do a dam structure on the road. I know we've done it in the past, we did it down on the county line, Perry, can't keep those two straight. But I know we've done it in the past, but I don't know what approval we need to give for that work, or what you guys need on that. And the ordinance doesn't really, our county ordinance doesn't cover that as well. But again, I guess, if you guys aren't sure either, I can certainly tap the Service Bureau's question and answer feature and see what other counties have done in the past. Cause this would close the road for a number of weeks while they did the construction. You can't really build a dam and keep traffic going through it. And that's level B between, just south of Pleasant Plain Road, where they were asking to make it a level C here a while back. So I guess we've got two things to think about. The grant, if you wanna help them out, or wanna help SIDCA help them out, cause this is exactly the kind of project SIDCA was looking to fund. You know, a water retention, something to slow down runoff and allow some infiltration and, you know.
So, will it have any effect on residents there or anything?
Other than they won't be able to use the road walls.
It's that dirt road
Yeah.
they was wanting to do,
Yeah.
okay. Is that gonna force us to bring it back to take it away from the level B and bring it back up to
No.
a grade road?
No, we'd still leave it a level B.
Okay,
So the only thing that would happen is they'd raise the elevation of the road and have a discharge overflow pipe in there. I think 22 feet would be the depth at the dam. And then, kind of show the outline, the proposed outline of where the pond normal level would be through that timber.
yeah.
So it's not really having any impact on the tilled land. I'm not a pond expert, but.
So, doing this through SIDCA, are they gonna have to put in any guardrails or cables or anything like that? Is some of that gonna be required?
Shouldn't. SIDCA's really, we'll have, they will need to build the road envelope to the 27-foot road top and then 3-to-1 slopes. So, that negates the need for guardrails or that kind of thing, having flat slopes. So that you have what they call a clear zone, where if you do go off the road, you can get back on without overturning.
So I have and forgive my ignorance, but on Walnut Creek, or tributary, okay? And so we create this pond, and I know we've done it before, but I'm wondering, when we create this pond, then does that become a waterway of the state?
It is now.
It is now,
Yeah.
okay. So
I
then-
think, because it, okay, the way I understand the current rules is if water flows in it year round, or most of the year, it is a water of the US.
Okay, so there will be a tube under the road,
Yes.
so it'll be pond on both sides of the
Be a
road?
pond on one side of the road.
On one side
Yeah,
of the road,
the outflow stream on the other side.
okay. And would we, I don't know exactly how to ask this, I just know that we had a situation up on Middle Glasgow Road years ago, I believe when Tom Goff was still here. And I know you've been up there, but the ditch on the south side of that road is very deep and it runs a lot of water through
Yeah,
there.
they let them develop that road.
Okay,
The road, Middle Glasgow Road should not have been built the way it was built.
okay, so where we got into trouble was when when we had a lot of heavy rains and the water started washing the road out. We were limited on what we could do because that was considered a waterway of the state. And I'm just wondering if that same kind of scenario would apply here.
Well, as long as they build the road to our design
Standard,
standard,
design.
and that's the problem with Middle Glasgow Road, is that road is basically a waterway when it rains.
Yeah, it is.
Instead of having ditches and ditch checks to slow the velocity, that thing just channels everything down to Glasgow Road in that ditch, and all of the rock that's on the road comes with it, and, it's.
Yeah. I mean, I know we've done this before, and I don't remember us doing anything other than if SIDCA approved it, we went with it.
Yeah, and they will need to give me more substantial plans than just a sketch on an aerial print, but right now that's what they put together for preliminary approval.
So what you're asking for is permission to apply for the grant?
Yeah.
For some clarification, who's gonna design this? You said this.
That's up to the landowner to
That's the
hire an
landowner
engineer.
to hire.
Yeah, they would, the way I understand it, and the way I anticipate it working is if they get approval to do this, they will have their engineer move forward with plans. And then they will submit the plans to us for approval.
So this is just no guarantee that they'll get the 50,000 till they get the plans all done and stuff?
No guarantee, they won't work the plan, I don't know if they will proceed without the 50,000. They may wanna do it whether they get the money or not, I don't know. Or the 50,000 might be the little bump that makes it workable for them.
Oh, yeah.
But they will not go to the expense of developing the plans until they're sure they're gonna move forward with it.
Okay.
So I don't know if the SIDCA grant is the linchpin for that or not. So I've had very limited discussions with them. They approached me about it and I said, hey, I know a group that is looking for this kind of project. And so there may be some grant money for it.
I would make a motion to, approve moving forward with the grant application.
I'll second that. I think it's a good idea myself.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, thank you. Discuss and consider resolution approving Bontrager Minor Subdivision. So I've already got the address for them.
Yeah, this is for the mobile home, or the parcel that mobile home sits on that we built the level A road for over off of north of, what is it, 136?
Yeah.
So make everything legal, they're splitting off 5 acres? Off of it's off a 40-acre parcel, but the parcel crosses the quarter section line, so it becomes a split into parcels, so that kicks it into the minor subdivision. If they'd changed if the original survey would have been different, then they wouldn't have needed to do this. It would have been just a simple split. But since it is over 2 quarters, it falls into the minor subdivision category.
It says 14.7 acres.
14 acres off of a 60 or 80 acre parcel. It's just a very odd shaped parcel. They use, instead of using the section lines, they use the creek as the division line of the original section or parcel.
And it has been addressed, so. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Dwayne, while I got you here real quick, this reminded me, I had a gentleman stop in, I sent him out to you, or told me he had to go out and talk to you, but he's got a 40-acre parcel. The creek runs through it, he wants to sell off, I can't remember the number of acres, 11 acres or something. And it's landlocked, so he would have to build a road or something there, so, okay. But there is a creek between those parcels. So he's gonna have to build it across that. So I told him, I said, I don't know, it's a waterway of the state, I don't know what rules or regulations guide having to do that, whether it has to be a bridge, whether, I didn't know. So I told him to come and talk to
Okay.
you.
Yeah, his name, Tucker.
John Lutz.
As far as I know, as long as it's just a simple, something that they can do with a culvert, and it's less than, I wanna say 150 feet, they are exempt on those.
Okay. Thank you.
That's the way I understand it. I could be wrong. It's
Well,
happened before.
whatever I would've told him would've been wrong, so AJ said it was okay, so I thought, well,
Okay, there you go.
Josh,
Good morning. I don't really have a lot to discuss this morning, so things are just trucking along. I do have a couple of file cabinets I'm trying to get rid of. I've heard some different things. You mentioned something about they might want them. Do you guys want file cabinets? I have some. They're just taking up space.
Alright, I think,
If not, I'll find somebody.
Abby and Shannon showed some interest when I went in there that day. I don't think you were there.
well, we have lots of stuff to store, so.
Okay.
I'll ask them for sure. Otherwise, if you said take them down to.
yeah, they got Washington County tags on them, so I don't know where they came from.
I don't suppose it matters where they came from, it's where they need to go. If the girls need them for storage,
Yeah.
so be it.
You put Jefferson County tags over the top of the Washington tags. Make it look legit.
So I was telling the other two supervisors that I ran into Angus crew at McDonald's late Saturday afternoon. And they indicated that they had done at that point in time, they'd done back-to-back transfers, and we had a rig on the road at that, so we've been on the road for 9 hours. I don't know if it was all the same crew, but
They took a trip to Davenport and then back-to-back trips to Iowa City. So Wednesday's gonna be,
I just wondered how that's possible if we don't take transfers with hospital. I'm just curious.
we take a lot of transfers from the hospital.
Oh,
Well,
Some of them don't need to go.
comment was made to me that we're refusing transfers from the
That
hospital.
is not,
Okay.
And I was gonna sit here and my comment is that Lee must be stalking the ambulance people because he knows where they're at.
Well,
he has
He's
a
got GPS on his
GPS
phone.
tracker and he's
yeah,
just like,
yeah, exactly right.
No, we're not refusing to take trips for the hospital. We are questioning some of the trips from the hospital and that, well, there was just one over the weekend that the crew showed up and the patient specifically said, I don't want to go by ambulance, I want my husband to take me. And then the crew went out to the nurse's station, expressed that, and the doc went in and all of a sudden minds were changed. And then en route, the patient told the medic that I didn't want to go by ambulance. So those are the kind of issues we're having. And again, we're not refusing anything, but we are questioning some of the, necessity for an ambulance and some of those, and when the patient requests to go by private vehicle, then we are pushing those. Cause again, I don't wanna saddle the patient with a $3,000 bill that they didn't want in the first place. So, it's an issue.
We meet with JCHC on Wednesday at 8 in the morning to have some conversations and about how to proceed. I do have a question. If the patient was to sign a waiver, you may not know the answer to this, does that alleviate any legal liability then for the hospital if they don't go by ambulance? If that was the recommendation?
I would assume so, but honestly, I can't speak to that
Right.
on the hospital side of things. I know typically in those situations, if they don't meet medical necessity for an ambulance, we will have them sign a form that says they recognize that they may be charged for the entire amount, and insurance may not cover it if it's not medically necessary, so.
And did that
Just
happen
like-
in this case?
Well, I don't know, I haven't had a chance to read the run report yet and look at the documentation, but,
Cause that's a big deal.
and you know, nobody's really free from liability. I mean, even though they sign a form, they can still turn around and sue, so.
No, and I get
There's
that,
that,
but by
and I know the
the,
hospital really is,
but by the same
concerned
token,
about
that
liability.
if this individual obviously was taken by ambulance, and they're gonna have a bill, that there's a high probability the insurance company will kick most of it back,
Yeah.
if not all of it,
Yeah.
so, okay. Anything else?
No, it's Monday.
Is it? Okay. Number 5, discuss and consider
Sure.
CEO Shared Liability Agreement with the Eastern Iowa Workforce Development Board. There was an email sent by Ed, he had had an opportunity to review this, we tabled it from last week. Susie, you got anything you wanna add?
Well, you know,
to
as
this?
I said last week, this is a combination of what used to be the Indian Hills Workforce Board, the WIOA board that was contiguous with the region for Indian Hills. When this new program started, we did take in some new counties, but right now this is just, and I'll read this. The purpose of this agreement is to decide how CEOs will organize themselves and actively fulfill the responsibilities for the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, which is WIOA services provided in the Eastern Iowa Workforce Development Area, which will now be known as EIWDA. The alphabets change every 4 years, I swear to God. Only when WIA was here, no, JTPA was 17 years, other than that, it's every other
Well, I
year.
remember I used to work on
Yes, you
JGPA's
did.
copy machines,
Yes,
yeah.
you did. At any rate, this is just an agreement that we're all gonna work together. There's 22 counties involved in this.
I would make a motion to approve the shared liability agreement.
I second that.
Discussion?
Are most of the counties on board in favor of this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You've not heard any
No,
Push
I'm at the
back.
meetings and nobody's not in favor of it.
Okay, okay.
Cause what it does is give them the federal money instead of letting the state take that federal money and use it for their regions.
Kind of semi more local control.
Okay.
Not
That's,
total local
no,
control.
that's
but-
right, that's right. We just deal directly with the people that give us the money, not another step in there.
The middleman gets cut out of this. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Joe?
No, no more discussion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Discuss and consider date to close courthouse for safety training. Chris is, and
Oh, Chris is on board, thanks.
so
Chris.
is, Brad.
Brad.
Brad, Melissa,
Melissa, okay, so,
and Christy's there too.
okay, so jump in, everybody.
Let me come up there. It might take a second to get up. Okay. So
You know, I would just wanna say one thing, you know, thank goodness Chris came back from, her little hiatus, because,
leave.
you know, we got a lot of stuff talked about in the extra 50 minutes we were there.
Okay, I'll tell you how it really went down. So I was not at the October safety meeting because I was on medical leave. And, so at the meeting last week, they're like, the meeting only lasted, what'd they say, Christy, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, some short period of time. And I'm like, so I'm just gonna make up for it at the November meeting. It was a good meeting though, so.
It was.
We have a great safety committee. So there was lots of discussion. I don't wanna take over. Christy's the new chair, so she
Aha.
is, Ben volunteered
Catering's
to
already.
be the chair. So we were discussing, and Stacy was there for my MWC, I don't think she's on the Zoom. So as you know, she's our work comp carrier, so she said some counties, opt to close for a day to the public or a half a day, and then they go through different training modules, so then everybody's on the same page. So that's kinda how I think this ended up on the agenda today, to discuss that. We don't know exactly what trainings we wanna offer for sure, but just an example of something that was discussed was, you know, we know what to do when an employee's injured or they have a near miss or something. They call company nurse. That's the process. But when a member of the public is injured or they fall and slip out in the parking lot or fall on the floor, whatever happens, there was discussion that people don't really know what to do to make sure that they get the right level of care and to document how that works. So that would be one of the things, like especially at the courthouse, because you guys have a lot of traffic in and out, and it has happened before where somebody's fallen. So that's an example of one of the trainings that we'd like to provide. Now, we haven't set forth the actual list of things, but anyway, so that's why Susie put this on the agenda, I believe. Is that correct?
I think several of us did.
Yeah, Christy, Susie, me. I just keep coming back. I've been on the safety committee a long time, and I'm like the de facto chair when we have a gap or to try to help facilitate
Lee,
things.
what this will do is provide an opportunity for everybody to hear the same things at the same time.
And practice it.
And practice it.
Yeah.
So are you wanting all day, part of the day, a particular day?
Well, I did ask the clerk of court because they're the ones that aren't allowed to shut down usually.
Okay.
They said maybe a couple hours would be more, if they planned ahead with court dates and such.
Well, you tell us what you think,
Well, I think we ended up thinking like a half a day, didn't we, like closing early? Did I remember, Brett's on that Zoom too, but is that what we kinda thought about, like?
There he is.
There he is, hey Brett. Oh, you're muted,
He's got a headache.
I don't blame you.
There.
Hey,
Your hair's looking awful gray in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so what did we didn't really decide how much time, but it's anywhere from, you know, a few hours to half a day to a whole day, just trying to get,
It depends on what you're training on. I mean,
yeah.
some of it could take longer, some of it's pretty quick.
When we talked about fire, you know, what to do from the third floor down here, how to all communicate quickly, active intruder for each office.
Public injury, making sure everybody knows employee injury,
AED training,
AED
CPR training.
Just a review, not a certification, but just a review. So I think probably a half a day would be plenty to start with, and that's something that we could look at. I know Melanie Carlson was at the emergency preparedness meeting on Thursday, and she shared that the city has moved to that model of closing to the public and then having a day of training or education for the city staff, and it works very well for them.
The whole day?
Brett, did they do it for the whole day?
They do.
Every month, right?
Yep.
Okay. And we're not asking that of the supervisors at this point. We're just trying to get, if we know how much time we have, whatever you guys may or may not approve, then at the next safety committee meeting in December, we can identify the highest priorities and see, kind of guesstimate how much time we would need. But at least it's a place to start.
The whole premise behind the training is, not to jump in here, but I mean, most businesses, most facilities have plans, right? And we talked about this, so we'll just take something as simple as it sounds, a fire drill, a fire evacuation. And I asked the question, how many in the courthouse know where your safe place is at after you evacuate the building? And also, if you have public in there, they're not necessarily have to go to the safe space, but they have to know the ways out, right? But how many people, out of all the offices and the people you have at one time in the courthouse, how many people know where you're going for accountability? So it's not just a matter of getting out of the building, it's a matter of having a place to go so you know that everybody in your office is accounted for if that happens. And I'm just guessing that not a lot of people in that courthouse know where the designated area is at. So, I mean, during the day when most people are there, but this plan also pertains to when you have election nights, when you have things going on outside the normal hours, how you're gonna get out, where you're gonna go for the accountability. That's like that on any plan. I mean, every business that's governed under OSHA has to do this, once a year and do these drills. Schools do fire drills, tornado drills, but the whole thing starts with the communication on the front end of, how's everybody alerted that there is a fire? You don't have, as far as I know, alarms that go off, do you?
We have sprinklers.
That's a different kind of alarm, but
Our buttons will email and
There's-
text, but
Fire alarm there, it connects directly to the fire department.
Yeah, and it goes to the law center too.
Okay.
But where are you gonna go? I mean, are they all tested all the time? So those are the kind of things that you do have a lot of employees in one building, and we're not just talking about courthouse employees, we talk about all county employees, but if you're in a facility, you can have those plans. And that's the easy one, right? The fires and the tornadoes.
Yeah.
Where's your shelter at if you get caught during a tornado or a derecho situation? And then you move into other trainings such as the active intruder for everybody, which we tried to do a couple years ago, didn't have a huge turnout for it, but that's what we've been talking about.
So, I guess from my perspective, you all are the professionals here. You tell us, what the day, the time, and what you want to discuss and lay it out, rather than, I think the board will go along with what you want. The only person I don't wanna say it that way, but I would wanna make sure that, cause Mark, the treasurer's office, has some days, what those are, that are pretty crazy. We wouldn't necessarily wanna do it on that particular day, but, whatever you come up with, if you want 4 hours, okay, if you want all day, okay. I think 4 hours, so that we can still conduct business.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's just me, so.
No, I think that's a fair statement, Lee, and I think that we're not talking like next month. We're talking a couple months out to give everybody time to look at their schedules, to your point, to work with the court system, whatever that may entail. So, yeah. And it's everybody's point. It sounds simple, but sometimes processes just take a little bit to make sure that everybody's on the same page with the process. So I don't know if you need us, I don't know if you can just say in a motion to the date will be determined by the safety committee, but that you would approve up to 4 hours on a specific day identified by them, and then we would come back to you with that date, knowing that it could be February or something like that. I don't know.
Chris, we can't have something like that here.
No, I don't know where we're gonna.
Well, it came to my mind, Smith Cambridge room over here is probably the best place to fit in possibly 80 to 100 people.
Yeah.
At once, so we all can attend at the same time. So we would have to know a little bit ahead of time, so we could ask for that room.
Yeah.
Well, it would be here so we know how to utilize this building. And it'd just be like, just the courthouse people, right?
And I was thinking, some of that stuff, if you could look at the different topics, you could probably do all of them one thing and then individually do others.
Yeah, I think the process, I mean, like something like a member of the public slipping or falling or getting injured, say at conservation or something, that process would be the same irregardless of where you're at within the county structure. Everybody's response would be different if it was where do you reunify for a fire, whatever, those things would be the same. I guess it's whatever you guys want. We want to try to make it as simple as possible and as cost effective as possible for the time off and for the location, so I don't know.
When is the next safety committee meeting?
It would be the 10th.
December 10th.
Yeah.
So.
And it's at the health department next
Why
month.
are you thinking 80 to 100 people, Susie? What do you want
Because
to include?
we're gonna offer this to everybody that works for the county, which would be 80 to 100
But
people.
this is just for courthouse, I thought.
No.
Well, I think it's both, Joe. I think it's
So some of it would be for the courthouse and then
well,
we
some
can-
of it would be for all the departments, like
Yeah.
reporting of an injury,
Yeah.
and we're gonna
Okay.
do
Yeah.
face-to-face fire extinguisher training again, we talked about that, but that'll be in the spring when it's warm, and then that'll be at the fire station or the health department's parking lot, and then the people just make a, appointment.
But
come
like
over.
active intruder or fire would be just for this building, correct? It wouldn't.
I don't think we've got to that.
Well, I think it could be both, Brett, right? I mean, it could be a discussion point of, I think the goal was to get everybody there with the high level education first, and then
Okay.
take the next step down is what I took it as. Chrissy, did you?
I agree. I think you need to have a set agenda for what you're going to go over and go over that at that point, and then you need to bring it back to your own individual buildings
Yeah.
and offices, right?
And that was our
But-
intention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can do it either way, just so everybody's on the awareness that this needs to be done in your own facilities or should be done in your own facilities, and how are you going to do that? But like an active intruder, and I'm paying law enforcement on here, that needs to be practiced at your own facility on
Yeah.
ways out, what you're going to do in your own office, how the doors lock, things like that. And fire drills, you don't necessarily have to, I guess, do a fire drill, but I would ask this question to the people that work in the courthouse: when those alarms, the smoke detectors do go off, what's everybody's reaction? Does everybody exit the building? So, like your building has a sprinkler, and just for your knowledge, sprinkler systems only go off to certain heat. So it's your alarm system that's getting you out of the building. I hope to God you're out of the building before most of your sprinklers go off. But you need those kinds of things, so you have an overall group. This is what we're discussing. This is our topics, at least this year, and then every facility practices their own. You should have maps in there of your exits for the public to know which ways are exits. You need to have 2 exits out of the building, things like that. And I'm not sure if you have that signage up there or not, but those are things we want to get in place. So over the years, it becomes routine when you hire a new person, they know your procedures for outside each building, whether it's secondary roads, whether it's the courthouse, whether it's public health, anywhere. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I go back to, however you all wanna set it up, and if we need to have everybody first and then come back a week later, 2 weeks later and do each individual, or like you said, Brett, whatever your itinerary, or not your itinerary, but your agenda is, whatever you have on your, whether it's fire in each location, because an active intruder, your circumstances are going to change depending upon where that intruder is. Like you said, if it's out on the secondary roads or whatever the case may be.
So Lee, would you be opposed to after the 12th of December, the safety committee will decide a better idea of what they want this to look like, and then come back to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where, for me, I'm gonna rely on all your expertise as to how you think it needs to be set up, and you just give us days and times.
Okay. Is there something,
Yeah.
is there
We
something?
don't wanna overload people with,
No,
let's not overcomplicate things, right? But
Yeah.
you need to have certain things in place. It all starts with your initial communication on whatever the emergency is, whether it's a fire, weather, who's monitoring your weather there, how do you know this is coming, whatever. It shouldn't be too complicated, and we don't wanna, make it, it's just awareness of how it should work, and whatever, each individual emergency has pretty much the same set of communications, rally points, and accountability.
and I think we wanted to make sure as a committee that that you were all on the same page, so to speak. So, cause Susie was at our meeting, she's a supervisor that's assigned to that, so then we brought it back to you guys, so then you know what we're looking forward, what we're trying to accomplish in the next coming months. So,
My thoughts is do a half a day, like take the afternoon and do it.
okay,
Everybody can be here that morning working, and then
okay,
follow up, close the courthouse at 12:30, 1 o'clock, and meet
Okay.
somewhere and go through stuff.
okay.
And I think it should be mandatory.
Yeah, that was discussed as well. We know that there's still gonna be some people that have already, people have emergencies, people have sick kids, or they get sick. But hopefully there won't be a bunch of people on vacation or something like that, so, yeah.
Pick the date out there a month and a half, so
Yeah.
people know it's there and don't schedule other things if possible.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anything that
To tell
you
what
guys
to do was just my idea.
have identified as an area of concern as supervisors? I mean, you guys are in the office, you guys are in the courthouse. And we all have things that we see differently in our own workspaces and our own departments, but,
Well, Christie and this is not, I don't know whether it's part of the same basket or not, but Christie and I were talking, and I don't know how it would work. Because but I do believe that door needs to have, it needs to go both ways. It needs to be available, but there's gonna have to be some.
as a secondary exit is what you're saying,
Yeah.
for safety, I
But
agree.
there's gonna have to be some reconfiguration, and it's not going to be easy
Yeah.
to do that.
Case in point, last week, we had to help them out to go in and out that door because they fixed that door. It was suggested by the two supervisors that they would throw me out the window, so this would be much more.
Well, that's supportive.
Oh, yeah,
Jeez.
it's,
Oh my
Head
goodness.
first or feet first?
Hey, now wait a minute, let's get the whole story. We were gonna put a trampoline out there,
Oh my gosh,
watch them bounce up and down a couple times.
my goodness. Well, okay, so I'm gonna bring us back to the topic.
Picture that.
Yeah, I don't want to, that sounds like a work comp situation.
We called them ahead of time.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we'll put this on the agenda then for the next safety meeting.
yeah.
Okay, how does that sound?
Yeah.
Okay, Melissa's still on there, I
And,
think,
I
yeah,
think it was something, didn't Stacy from MWCA said she would like.
she would help,
She could, which
Yes.
would be terrific.
yeah, so,
She has a
And I
way
could
of
ask the
getting
group
things across.
for dates too, that would work for them.
that'd be great, and Mark as well, right?
Yep.
To see if he's got anything scheduled out that far, okay.
The only monkey wrench I'm gonna throw into it is I'm assuming that you'll wanna get through the holidays.
Oh yeah, we're looking at January at the earliest, probably
Okay.
maybe even the first part of February, I mean, as long as it takes to get stuff organized and notify people and check schedules and,
A place to
yeah.
do it, you need a place to
Yeah.
do it.
yeah.
If we're wanting road crews, we gotta make sure that we kinda watch the weather reports.
Sure, I'm that good, Lee, I've got that much power and control.
I
But
thought maybe
it'll
you
be
did.
nice weather, and then the 2 days before we're gonna have it, we'll have like winter weather. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I totally respect what you're saying, but I wish I had that much power.
I'm just thinking if we all got outside and started talking, there'd be enough hot air.
Well, that'd work.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate your support with this, and, again, we have a great safety committee, I can't say enough great things about us. We don't always feel like we're making a big headway, but according to Stacy, we are, and we're doing a good job, so I appreciate everybody's time on that.
Yeah, just let,
We'll tell you what we want, okay?
Okay. That's,
All right.
yeah, and then you can establish the agendas and
Yeah,
everything. right?
and we'll bring it back for you guys to look at before you make that decision, so thank
Yeah,
you.
we'll let you know, cause we want you there.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, you're not exempt from
Yeah,
this
that's right.
training.
It's mandatory, I should say.
Yeah,
Christie, that's not what you said when you put this on the agenda.
well, she didn't tell everybody, she's, it goes without saying,
Just a reader's digest.
we gave you some bullet points,
Yeah.
thank you guys.
All right, discuss and consider keyless entry system, Dave already spoke to that. He's gonna reach out to Permar, so,
Yep.
we can just table that or move beyond, cause we don't have any information.
I just have a question if I can, Lee, is that just for your outside, your external doors, or is that for departmental doors inside the structure as well? Just the
All I'm
outside
thinking was
doors.
just the
Okay.
outside doors.
Okay, I didn't know, that's why I was just asking.
Yeah.
Okay, cause we talked about stuff like that the other day at the safety committee as well, so I was just asking for clarification, thank you.
Discuss and consider closing courthouse for employee Christmas dinner. If we work that out with the safety. committee,
I don't think, we're not that good, we're not gonna be that
They'll all
organized
show up
yet.
for dinner, and then we corral them for breakfast.
Sorry.
What days are the courthouse closed at Christmas? 25th and 26th?
25th.
Just the 25th?
Some departments don't work on
They like to shut down early on the 24th, but
I think most of them are vacation on the 26th.
Yeah, it's too bad we can't give them both days off, so.
What's to say you can't give us both days?
but the elected
Still
officials, the only
not
ones
It's
who
up,
control
it's
the
up
road.
to each office as to the 26th, is it or not.
Say that again.
Isn't it up to each department as to whether they're open or closed on the 26th? If I remember right,
It's up to
last
the-
year,
It's up
some
to
was
the elected
closed and some
officials,
was.
but it has to come out of their budget.
Okay.
Well, it's going to come out of their budget.
Well, right,
whether
but
they
what
have
I'm
or not.
saying is that, what I'm saying is that the way that works is they have to choose to use vacation, or if they have comp time or something of that nature, or is without pay. And if the elected official opts to pay it, they can't come back later or expect it to come out of the supervisor's budget, is what I'm saying. They have established a budget, and you're right, and you're 100% correct, the payroll's in there, it's already figured in for the year. But that being said, they're just wanting to know about Christmas dinner.
Yeah, that's all I was heading for with that, but I always go off on that little tangent about no holidays.
So we're thinking December 18th, 12 to 1.
Is that a Saturday or?
I don't think-
Sunday.
I don't think they'd be asking for
Cause
that.
then I
Well,
at 9 o'clock.
that would work
appointment,
out all
I'm
right, I
sitting-
should be able to
move
get out of
that.
KBIZ by 9, right,
Will
AJ?
you be able to get the turkey
I'm
strips
scheduled to be
too?
at KBIZ at 8 unless one of
Well,
these two are gonna go.
It'll take longer than 4 hours to get you in there. So we-
Oh, okay.
Then we'll look at it.
So 12 to 1 on the 18th, that's a Thursday. I'd almost be willing to bet I'm gonna have a transit meeting unless we, but we'll see. It'll work out, because I'd be over at KBIZ anyway, I'll go from there to the transit meeting and then from there to here, so. Normally, we would meet the fourth Thursday, but that is the 25th, so.
So if you're here by 1 to help clean up and pick up the tables and chairs, that'll be fine, maybe.
If I'm here to eat, that's my share of the duty.
Christie, to enlighten this conversation a little bit, better it has been, which department is responsible this year? Well,
Auditor's
great,
office.
Great,
We might even torture somebody with games.
that'd be fun, actually,
Responsible for,
organizing this.
oh,
Each
so
year
each
is a different
department.
host.
You know,
Oh,
I think,
Okay, I didn't
in light of
realize.
the fact that the auditor's office is supposed to be in charge of this whole building, we should just let her do it every year. You know, for
Is that a motion?
And then they can appoint Joe. I think that works out.
We're gonna have smoked pulled ham. Is our plan.
Nice. Who's cooking it? Andy.
Yep.
Oh,
It'll be good.
Yeah.
yep.
So is December 18th at 12, from 12 to 1 okay with everybody?
Yeah, you should.
Do you need that in a motion?
Yeah, I think I would go ahead and do that.
I move we have Christmas dinner at the courthouse from 12 to 1 on December the 18th.
Yeah, it's too bad we can't have a little more time than that, but
12 to 1:30?
there you go.
What are you gonna do, play some games or cards?
You must have heard that somewhere.
So 12 to 1:30?
Yes, I think that's fine, it gives everybody
12
a
to
chance to.
1:30, yes.
Okay. Is that a second then?
Of course it was.
Okay. All those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Alright. Discuss and consider ISAC support for Amicus Brief. Alright, so that was on before and we opted not to do that, but I just wanted to let you know, I gave you copies of the email. There is no requirement, they're basically begging for our support, there is no requirement to provide a financial contribution.
You know, in light of the fact that our support is needed and it's not monetary, I have no issues with this.
I just have gotta find the, like, what is this? Oh.
You can do little bigger things, be an elf for Christmas.
So, I have to go back through the email, I think there was a, I don't know, some kind of letter of support thing that we can do, that we can put on letterhead and then sign it.
That's the way I
Or
understand.
rather than having to come back before another meeting, if you authorize the chair to sign it. So we would prepare a letter of support, authorize the chair to sign it, with no financial contribution. That's my motion.
I second that motion.
I third it.
There you go.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Discuss and consider invoice from RSM for Jackson Point. Quite some time ago, back in, believe it or not, 2023, Chauncey came before us and asked the board to approve to pay RSM to do the audit for Jackson Point. We did do that. Was not aware that it had not been paid. It was for 2024. The invoice is 261 days old and 229 days old, for a total of $8,670.
So why did they let it go so long before they notified?
No, we have evidently been notified, well, let me rephrase that. My guess is that it went through Keyway Management.
Okay.
And there was no money, and that's why Chauncey came to us and asked the board if they would pay for if we would pay for the audit.
So
Which is
now
what
it's
this
a
is.
23 audit, not 24, correct?
No, it's 24 audit, but if I'm not mistaken,
It says here the 23 audit bill.
okay, that's right, because we didn't have them do an audit last year. So yes, you're right, Susie.
Just curiosity, why are we paying for the audit? I know it's already been done. You said Chauncey asked us.
Yeah.
I can't remember everything.
Yeah.
You mean back before it was done, Chauncey approached the supervisors to pay for it?
Yeah.
So how did the audit come out? Was everything?
Yeah, there was
Okay.
no issue with the audit as far as that part of it is concerned, but if you're familiar at all with way audits, they don't audit everything. Now, I don't mean to allude that there was any issues, what I'm
They
saying
pick and
is,
choose.
yes, yes. And each year they kind of focus in a different area. Whippley used to do the audits for SIDCA. Prior to that, it was Theobald, Donahue, and Thompson, Whippley was more of their expertise, if you will, in their area was community action programs, things of that nature. RSM is probably more familiar with the LIHTC programs and what to look for, those audits, and you got federal dollars that are involved. Well, you do in CETA too, as far as that part of it goes.
Yeah, but you're talking SIEDA, not CETA.
Right, yeah. Southern Iowa Economic Development Association or Authority, and I don't know how that ever came about to be what it is, but that's what the acronym is. Which actually, years and years ago, used to be CETA instead of 10-15 grand. But anyway, I digress. So that's what this is.
Okay.
And we did agree based on Chauncey's, so there, the invoice, Darcy has the invoice, but has not been authorized to pay it as of yet. I want to bring it back before the board's attention, or to the board's attention.
So Chauncey authorized the audit?
No. Chauncey came and asked, and we authorized the audit and agreed to pay for it.
So that we don't need to do anything, sorry.
I wanted to bring it back to your attention. And I don't, like I said, if you're part of the expression, it got lost in the weeds somehow or another.
Since you've already okayed it, it says discuss and consider. Do we
Right.
need to do anything?
No, you don't, except to authorize Darcy to go ahead and pay it, since we've got the invoice. So I will initial it if that's okay with you guys.
That's fine.
Committee reports. Yep, to see what you had in committees, I wanna check something just real quickly. It might impact my committee report. So far, nothing.
Well, I'll start then.
I thought maybe none of you had any committee reports.
I
Oh
thought
my
you,
God,
I
it's so
thought you were
quiet.
gonna report, Chris.
No, I'm not part of this. I'm waiting for public comments.
Oh, all right. I had a Chamber of Commerce appreciation, get together.
Did you see your envelope, by the way?
Is what?
Did you see your envelope, by the way? The prom today?
Yes, but I didn't pay any attention to it yet.
Okay,
I was here, didn't get here in time to look at that.
okay.
So, appreciation at 4 to 7 on Wednesday evening. Thursday morning, we had our Jefferson County Emergency Preparedness meeting at the hospital with the different departments. And everybody talked about, reported on the different things they had been doing for getting ready for emergency, if there's a disaster in the county or whatever. And, that's all I got to report on.
Susie?
Last week, since we had several weeks before we had meetings, I neglected to report on the EMA 911 meetings that I was at. The EMA meeting was very quick. Again, Chris was not there, but we got done with that in about 12 minutes. And the second meeting was all about, for the 911, the big discussion was the radios, because I know Brett's kind of a hard time coming up with the money for all the radios that we need in the next couple of years. We did help a little bit last week. We offered to, not offered, we voted at the end of some of the opioid money. Yeah.
Anything else?
Not that I can think of right now.
Meeting, but we already talked
Oh,
about
yeah.
that.
The safety meeting, but you know, Chris was back, so that was a little longer. And she said,
So, Courthouse Foundation Board meeting. We are preparing next year to, next spring, I believe it is, to do the roof, which I am impressed with anybody that's willing to get up on that roof and redo that roof. The porch was redone. It took more than what we thought. I think we're gonna go ahead and purchase a new water heater. Some of the water lines, we had plumber in to take care of some other stuff, and they actually, believe it or not, were able to saw that water line straight or connector straight and screw it back on, but we're afraid that, you know, it's not gonna last, and then you're gonna be in the middle. So we're gonna redo that. We got a new washer and dryer, which actually, was in, the closet there where you all were doing training. You can't even hear the thing run. It's a stack dryer in the closet there in the dining room, so I was impressed with that. We canvassed the election on Wednesday, once again. The auditor's office did a phenomenal job. Abby, had 14,000 pieces of paper for each of us to sign. I think she was the exact same thing. She just made copies of it over and over and over and over again, just so that, and, we had a special meeting that was a closed section, and, now to the, so I met with Chauncey this week. I met with two individuals, who have expressed interest in maybe running Jackson Point. However, we had a long conversation with Michael Thibodeau, who is the attorney for Iowa Finance Authority. And Dave and I and one of the individuals that was interested, we went out and we toured on Friday, and after we toured on Friday afternoon, we again talked to Michael Thibodeau. And it appears, I'm trying to come up with the bylaws. I'm gonna go to the recorder's office, see if they might by chance have a copy. I reached out to Dick Reed, he does not have a copy. Michael Thibodeau does. I sent him an email requesting that he send me a copy of the bylaws, but apparently, according to Mr. Thibodeau, the bylaws state that the Board of Supervisors shall appoint a board to the progressive, or members to the Progressive Housing Court. I haven't seen it yet.
We did that.
In other words, there must be a board constituted. So,
Can I ask for what purpose?
I haven't seen, you know as much about it right at this moment as I do.
Yeah.
But the point is that, and the point that Mr. Thibodeau made was that all rights and responsibilities were, pardon the expression, deeded over to the Progressive Housing Corp. So the Progressive Housing Corp has the authority, according to Iowa Finance Authority, to enter into agreements to deed property over, so on and so forth. These two individuals that are looking at this, property, are serious and have met via phone with Iowa Finance Authority, as well as with the county attorney. So where I am at on this is that right at this particular moment, I also reached out to Joe Benz. And the reason I reached out to Joe Benz was there was a lot of talk, as you're well aware of, because we've had this conversation 100,000 times, but I'm wanting to know that if indeed there is a legal requirement for the Board of Supervisors to appoint board members if they are covered under the county's insurance on their Arizona missions.
Because right now we would have to reappoint people to that.
That's right. And the reason I'm asking that question is because then one of those board members is going to have to assume ownership of that account to be able to pay the bills. There are a light bill, Our Alliant bill due on November 20th. There is trash bill due on the end of November. There is insurance due the end of November. There's checks yet to be deposited. The check was received from Area 15 Regional Housing, not Regional Housing, Area 15 Housing Authority for almost $2,400. The utility bill is $953. I've yet to see a water bill. The insurance is $1,881 and some change, and the trash pickup bill, recycling, all that heavy stuff, is $250 something. We toured the apartments. The heating, air conditioning units in the apartments, where we said that the thermostats were off the wall, which is true, but they are self-contained, so they can be controlled from the units, and they indeed were working. The apartments were in actually very good shape. The one individual that we toured with said, well, this is, I don't understand why these are not rented at this point. One of them has to have some serious cleaning, which is, basically that's the issue. They're very excited. They want very much to be able to do this, but they have to be able to enter into an agreement. And the only entity that they can enter into an agreement with would be the Progressive Housing Corp, which doesn't exist at this particular moment in time, depending upon your perspective. It does exist as far as Iowa Finance Authority is concerned. And I apologize for going on about this, but we have residents out there that are very concerned about what their circumstances are going to be. And I can't personally, I can't just walk away from it. I'm not excited about necessarily, shall we say, assuming ownership of the account. I am not capable of doing the required paperwork and the stuff that Iowa Finance Authority and HUD requires. It takes somebody with expertise in an area that I don't have. These individuals have expertise in that area, and I'm not mentioning names on purpose at this point in time. One of the individuals actually has apartments, actually works with Area 15 Housing. I've got paperwork. Area 15 Housing does inspections, and they require certain things. You may be more familiar with that than I am, but I do know that that is a requirement. So you have to have somebody that's willing to handle that. They're not asking for any financial contribution from here. In fact, the one that toured it late Friday afternoon with me understands that at this point, if they just broke even, they would be tickled pink. What they're looking for is at the end of in November of 2027, that they have is predicated upon Iowa Finance Authority, quote, and their high probability of loan forgiveness, that they would receive the property at that point in time.
That's nothing we can answer. We don't know if it's
No,
gonna.
no, you're right, we can't, but the point is that right now, there's nobody to enter into an agreement with. I wanna see the bylaws. I'm hoping that Mr. Thibodeau will send them to me. He says he has a copy of them. I'm gonna check, like I said, with the recorder. But what I'm saying is that, and I wanna hear from Joe Benz, if Joe Benz says that if the Board of Supervisors are compelled to appoint a board, are those board members that they appoint protected through our insurance? If they are, then I don't have as many reservations about. However, I probably, I haven't said this to her yet, would enlist the auditor's office to help me until we get somebody to take it over because I'm gonna have to have some kind of who paid rent, what month they paid rent, that sort of thing. Just so, and there is a list of folks who have security deposits, and there's 3 different accounts. There's a reserve account, there's a regular account, and then there's an operations account. I don't know anything about it. But at the same moment in time, we do have two people who are interested, in doing this, and they're very serious about it. I wish we'd have had them 3, 4, 5 weeks ago.
I have a question, Lee. We have two people that are interested in doing this. So you're saying, by giving all those dollar figures, are you indicating that you want us to pay for that stuff?
No,
they assume that?
I'm saying the money is there in grant and checks that we've received, that we received from Area 15. But I have no authority at this point to deposit any of that or to pay any bills. There is no checkbook.
So until we have the new PHC, nobody can do this,
New what?
public housing.
Oh, yeah, right.
Or corporation.
Right, I mean, you know, because if I do it as a member of the Board of Supervisors, that is problematic.
It is, yes.
But by the same token, if the Board of Supervisors is compelled to appoint a board, and that's Iowa Finances Authority's position, and that apparently is the bylaws position as well. And I sent a copy of my email, I CC'd Chauncey on my email to Mr. Thibodeau. And if that's indeed the case, then it seems to me that those board members would be protected via the county's insurance. But I've sent an email to Joe Benz asking him that question.
My concern is you're dealing with this in what position? As supervisor, as a former board member? I mean,
As a supervisor, if we're compelled, I have to deal with it.
but we haven't saw the bylaws yet.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I might try the state auditor to get those, because when you have organizations like that.
They are not filed with state auditor's office, already went down that
They
road.
are not.
They do not file bylaws with state auditor.
What about Secretary of State?
Well,
Somebody
that's
has to have
that's
those
what I meant,
bylaws.
Secretary of State, I apologize. There's no requirement to file bylaws, so bylaws are not with the Secretary of State. Because that's one of the first places I went to see if I could access it, because it'd be public record. And the Progressive Housing Corp and the bylaws, there's nothing there, so I'm just alerting you to what the possibilities are. Both of these individuals are going to want some type of guarantees. Now, the guarantees can come through the Progressive Housing Corp according to Iowa Finance Authority. And if Iowa Finance Authority and Progressive Housing Corp stay together as a partner, if you will, for lack of a better way of putting it, then in November of 27, the Progressive Housing Corp can apply for loan forgiveness. And because it's a nonprofit, I quote, Mr. Thibodeau said that there's no reason absolutely why that would not be forgiven. But obviously, like any other board, it's up to a board. At that point in time, you know, we may have just kicked the can down the road for 2 years, but I just cannot not try to fix this problem. And not leave any stone unturned, whatever that phrase is. And if we've got individuals that are currently interested, then, but I have no authority, and this is what I said to both of them. I have no authority at this point in time, nor does anybody else, to enter into an agreement, because it's the Progressive Housing Corp, the nonprofit corporation, that is the controlling entity.
They would have to be involved until the end of the loan.
Yes.
But this other company would come in and manage it, is that what
I
you're
didn't say it was a company.
Well, individuals then
Right.
would come in and manage it.
Yes, with the hope and the desire that they would, at the end of that 2 years, that the loan would indeed be forgiven, and then the Progressive Housing Corp would deed it over, and they would continue at that point in time. And then at that point in time, HUD rules and stuff still no longer apply, because it's no longer a LIHTC property. So the reporting requirements and everything would go away, but they would do all the reporting requirements, whatever's required to be done during that time, because otherwise the loan can't be forgiven. One of the reasons that one of the individuals doesn't want to take it on and run it and then apply for the loan forgiveness is because they would not be a nonprofit entity, and so they would owe probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $70,000 in taxes on the forgiven loan. So they're very serious, they're very, and so is the other individual. And so what I'm saying to the Board of Supervisors is after I get this stuff, I'm hoping I can get it all today, that I'm willing to throw my hat back in the ring. But there's some questions that I need to have answered. But if I don't get something done here before, like I said, I'm not as concerned about the insurance on the building. That would be Iowa Finance Authority. That's the other thing. At that point in time, whoever is the Progressive Housing Corp would probably come before the Board of Supervisors each year and ask for an abatement on the taxes, which is about $4,000 for the year. Currently there are taxes owed, so the Progressive Housing Corp probably would ask for an abatement this year, but there is no Progressive Housing Corp board. There is Progressive Housing Corp, but no board. And the board can consist of no more than 1/3 of the Board of Supervisors. Doesn't have to be a member of the Board of Supervisors, but it can consist of no more than 1/3. So, let me rephrase that, I didn't say that right. No more than 1/3 of the board can be Board of Supervisors. Did I say that right? Okay. That's where I'm at. I've got we have a renter that will be gone the end of this month, so we have another apartment that will be available to rent. It'll have to be. And like I say, these folks are willing to. An Iowa Finance Authority, I think, is motivated to make it work. And once I have a little bit more information, I'll be more than willing to impart to you who these individuals are. But I don't wanna throw anybody under the bus at this point.
It's understandable.
So
if something happens and it's mismanaged in the next 2 years, who's gonna be on the hook in 2 years for that loan?
would be the.
Dump it back to the Iowa Finance Authority?
It would be the Progressive Housing Corp. Would be, they are the controlling entity. Okay, so, but there
That's
would.
why you're asking
well,
Joe Vance.
That's right. Plus, keep in mind that there would be a contract between, which there was a contract for 15 of the 17 years there was a contract.
With Keyway.
Yes. So, so all of those things would be spelled out in the contract, indemnifying both entities and so on and so forth. But right at this particular moment, I mean, that goes, and in talking to both individuals, more than willing to enter into a contractual agreement, because it's beneficial to all of the parties involved as far as that part of it goes. And in that agreement, it could be spelled out that without question, that the county of Jefferson is not, it is the Jefferson County Progressive Housing Corp., of which Iowa Finance Authority clearly acknowledges, and it is, it's not a 501c3, it's a 504. I don't pretend to understand, I haven't looked that up, according to some 504 of the Iowa Code, but anyway, it's a nonprofit. So that makes them eligible for loan forgiveness if certain criteria are met. Okay, we went through, the entities that are interested are fully well aware of the sidewalk issue. One of them, the one that I went with and visited the property on Friday with, that 90% of that they can do themselves. I just got an email today from the people that do the fire extinguishers and stuff, and he told us what his rates would be if we wanted to continue. So that's there. Somebody did come in and do pest control Friday, because I talked to one of the renters. I think that probably ultimately would be done locally rather than coming out of Muscatine, but that would be up to the individuals. Currently, we have 13 units that are rented. There'll be 12 after the end of this month. That's $6,000 a month. There just didn't look like there was that much to do in there that we went through. And Dave was out there with us on Friday when we went through all of this. So, I'm just saying that if those bylaws come back and the board is indeed compelled to appoint a board or to appoint members of the Progressive Housing Court, that's all I can tell you at this point. I'm hoping that I get an answer today. I don't know how. I reached out to Keyway to see if they paid the utility bill online. They do not. You can set it up that way. I pay my utility bill online, but not being an owner, I don't know. I mean, I have the account numbers and everything. I don't know if you can just write for deposit only on the back of the checks and take them and deposit them.
Right now, you should not be doing that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, okay?
Yeah, I wouldn't even be writing for deposit only.
So,
That's up to
so
you.
where's these checks now?
They're still in the lockbox in the,
It's a place they drop them in, they
Yes.
stay there.
and the Area 15 check is sitting right over there.
So until we get the bylaws, we can't do anything, so I suggest we just move this to another meeting.
I don't wanna wait that long. I may have to have a special meeting to get something,
Well,
because,
we can't vote on anything today.
no, I know that, I
I'm willing
understand
to
that.
do a special meeting. if we
But what
have
I'm
to.
saying is that that utility bill is due on the 20th of November.
Lee, can I ask a question?
Yes?
Is there a way to appoint a signatory authority to, like I am the Board of Health signatory authority, so every year they appoint me as the public health administrator to be signatory authority, so then I can pay up bills, sign grants, all of those things. Is it something that somebody could currently be appointed as a signatory authority in this interim period? I don't know, that way you can at least do business. I'm just asking.
So the responsibility falls to the
Right.
to the Jefferson County Progressive Housing Corp, of which a member of that board would be assigned, or more than one member of the board could be an assigner.
Right. Right, but is it something that could be looked at as this interim to have somebody be appointed so you could pay your bills and not get late fees and all that stuff? That was my question.
But it's not our entity to pay bills and do late fees and stuff, it's not our entity.
No, I understand that, I
I don't know why it was set up the way it was set up, but the reality of it is that the county does not own the facility.
No, I get that.
It's never owned the facility.
Right.
And it is a private entity, what's called Jackson Point Limited Partnership. The only leg of that stool that still exists, in theory, is the Progressive Housing Corp.
Right, but that's what I meant, if somebody on that board,
There is nobody. on
there's
that
nobody
board.
on that board, alright, I get
The
it,
board
there's no,
resigned.
all of them resigned,
Yes.
okay, alright.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, I didn't know they all resigned, I thought there was still somebody there,
So
alright.
I'm going
Sorry.
to follow up
We
on
don't have
this.
to be on the board, that's the good thing.
Sorry, I just was asking,
No.
I thought there was still somebody on the board, you're trying to do that in that capacity.
Well, I'm just,
Okay.
Okay, I got 13 people out there that are in limbo right now,
Waterman, he's listening
Right,
to us.
right.
so. Okay,
And you know how I feel about it, cause you and I had a conversation about some of the residents and how important it is for them to be able to stay there.
What amazes me is Optimate didn't think it was.
You and I need to have a conversation about that at another time.
Okay, this is
So,
public comment, it's going on for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
this ain't public comment, this is still your committee reports, isn't it?
Yeah, it's public comment.
So public comments.
He said public comment.
Now we did, alright.
So now can we
Okay.
adjourn? No public comments, we adjourn.
I'm gonna give you guys an update about the AED that's coming over to your new, to your AED storage box by the elevator. So, if you guys remember, I applied for a grant from the Greater Jefferson County Area Foundation. We were awarded that grant. We purchased 2 AEDs, one for the courthouse, one for the health department. They have arrived. I'm gonna come over this afternoon with the AED and talk to Christy about it. We're gonna put the new one in the box over here. It's pediatric and adult, has pediatric and adult capabilities. It also is in English and Spanish. It's very easy to use. Christy and I'll talk about it. I did talk to Dave this morning about maybe reactivating the alarm on that current box, so it would sound when you open the door, because currently it's disabled, so. And Joe, you were at that meeting the other day I was at, and we talked about AEDs, and I think I'm taking the health department's AED out of service, cause it's old, so I think that's probably what needs to happen to this one as well, so. That's it, that's all I wanted to tell you guys, and then I'm gonna talk with Christy, and then we're gonna make sure that they know how to use it, and, I'm having Deb make some labels, so if the AED is used, there's gonna be a little label that says, if this AED, after use, contact the auditor's office, so at least Christy's office is a point of contact, because I don't have any extra pads, we'll have to get them ordered, so. Okay?
You need a patient to
No,
demonstrate it.
no, see, if you have it, then you don't need it. That's the mentality of preparedness. If you have it, then you don't have to use it.
That's what I thought when I bought that damn snow blower. We know how that worked out.
Anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a report on that, close the loop, because that's been going on since, I think May, since I applied, or June, whenever I applied for that grant, so.
Any other public comments?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
John Bain with the podcast Southeast Iowa Today with John Bain. I'm asking this because I have not seen any comments from the Board of Supervisors. On November 3rd, 2025, there was an e-file to the Jefferson County Clerk of District Court from plaintiff Judy Heisel versus Jefferson County, Iowa, Chauncey Moulding, individually and in his official capacity, and then everybody else listed individually and in their official capacity. Lee Dimmitt, Susie Drish, D. Sandquist, Amanda Moreno, MD, defendants. Judy Heisel brings this action to redress wrongs committed against her relating to her end of employment with Jefferson County for violations of her civil rights for defamation and for malicious prosecution. According to the Southeast Iowa Union, Chauncey Moulding offered a written response to the lawsuit, and I have that right here, quote, "This matter represents another baseless attempt by a small group of former Jefferson County Ambulance Service personnel to challenge the integrity of Jefferson County and its officials," Moulding said. "The county is confident that the courts will evaluate these allegations as they have past claims without merit and will dismiss this at the appropriate stage," unquote. The difference this time is that Jefferson County has lost once already when she, Judy Heisel, was prosecuted for illegally recording. She was found innocent. Do you agree with Jefferson County Attorney Chauncey Moulding's assessment of the case?
I would defer to the Jefferson County Attorney and the attorney from ICAP, all in court brief.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Any other public comments? Hearing none. Allow motion, allow claims and approve reports in the amount of $187,087.70.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Please take note, Tuesday, November 18th, 8:30 opioid work session, second tier canvas for city school election at 10 a.m. 8 a.m. we meet JCHC at the hospital, and there is a public health board meeting on Thursday, November 20th at 6 p.m. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, yeah.
Aye.
Discussion?
You know, not at this time.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for watching. It's another episode of Podcast Excellence. Remember, the public servants of Jefferson County, Iowa take care of a lot of business you as a constituent probably don't want to deal with. Thanks to my sponsors, Griner Auto Body, Car Doctor, McDonald Boneyard, Your Choice Family Restaurant, Girling Repair, B&B Propane, and the family of Jet Stops. CW Tree Trimming LLC, Iowa Technology Systems, Junkin Sisters, Holiday Shop Hop, December 5th and 6th, Dutch Market, and Coffee Talk. Make sure to give this episode a like, follow, and subscribe. It's free. I'm your host, John Bain. Stay friendly, Southeast Iowa.